So I got served today at the pharmacy, and
Sir, here you can watch a new anime recap without getting sirred. I hope you enjoy it. The next day, Ryoma goes to Serge from the Morgan Trading Company alongside Ilaria and discusses the idea with him. Serge, being a great merchant, sees the potential in Ryoma's business plan and says that he would like to support him fully. He suggests that Ryoma register with the Merchants Guild as it will help his business grow a lot with their support. With that, they all ride to the Merchants Guild and Serge introduces him to the old guild master, Glakella. Ryoma shows her his cleaner slimes and demonstrates how his business will work. Hey warriors, how is it going? You see me, I am Itachi Uchiha, the hidden Hokage of Leaf Village. Just kidding, you know I am just an AI, but behind this shape, I am here to entertain you with enormous amazing recaps of all animes you can imagine. So without talking too much, let's dive in our story.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
The next day, Ryoma goes to Serge from the Morgan Trading Company alongside Ilaria and discusses the idea with him. Serge, being a great merchant, sees the potential in Ryoma's business plan and says that he would like to support him fully. He suggests that Ryoma register with the Merchants Guild as it will help his business grow a lot with their support. With that, they all ride to the Merchants Guild and Serge introduces him to the old guild master, Glakella. Ryoma shows her his cleaner slimes and demonstrates how his business will work, and Glakella commends him for his smarts as well. She gets him registered with the guild and then sends him off to see a cheap plot of land on the main road for his shop. They all go to see the place and find a burnt building. Serge reveals that there used to be a bar, an inn, and a warehouse here, but then a fire broke out and took everything under. Ryoma notes that the location is ideal for his laundry business, as it's in the residential area and is close to the Adventurers Guild as well. Serge helps him prepare all the paperwork and then offers to loan him his own managerial employees and some materials to get started. After acquiring the land, Ryoma starts working on constructing his shop with the help of his slimes and his economy-disturbing building magic. He gets rid of the overgrown weeds with the help of his scavenger slimes and melts the old building away with his acid slimes. He uses the create block spell to dig up a hole and uses the materials to create bricks, then assembles them with the help of his sticky slimes. And just like that, in a single day, he sets up a 2-story high building with a basement, as well as a separate dormitory for his employees. After that, he has its interior and exterior painted and decorated with tiles with the help of his adventurer friends. With that, Ryoma opens his first laundry shop in Gimel and names it the Bamboo Forest Laundry Service, which is a play on his last name, Takabayashi, which means bamboo forest. After the main shop's construction is finished, Ilaria notes that the area surrounding the shop looks too empty and lifeless, and suggests that they plant some grass and flowers there. Ryoma agrees, and they all get to it. While working on that, Ilaria asks if Ryoma isn't tired from working so much, and he replies that it's nothing compared to his old job. We then find out that in his previous life, he used to create anime action figures, and I'm sure Ludwig would like to talk to him about that. After that, he plans to hold an opening ceremony for his shop and discusses the idea with Ilaria and Hughes. On their way back, he makes a stop at the church and gets to talk to Kufo, as the other two masters are on vacation on Earth. Kufo tells Ryoma that his mind is being affected by his young body and that it's totally fine, but he should make sure not to overwork like in his previous life. Ryoma takes note of his advice and then goes back home with great ideas in his head for the opening ceremony. The next day, Ryoma goes out with Ilaria and the rest of the Reinhard family to practice new taming spells from Elise. They go to an open hilly area, and Elise begins the session by explaining the sensation-sharing spell that they would be practicing today. Elise explains that when a tamer forms a contract with a monster, they form a link between themselves that allows them to share their senses, including smell, hearing, taste, and vision. However, this is not possible with summoning magic, as in that case the summoner forcefully forms the contract with the monster, so their link is only one way. Elise then says that today they will be using a couple of crew birds to practice this magic, and Ilaria asks why they won't be using their slimes. Reinhard explains that with slimes, it's hard to share senses because they don't have any sense of sight. After that, they form familiar contracts with the crew birds and start practicing by sharing their senses of sight. It takes them a minute, but with Elise's guidance, they both grasp the concept and are able to share their senses with the birds successfully. Ryoma notes that it feels somewhat similar to how it feels when you try VR for the first time, and then wonders how Ilaria is so talented, as she managed to do it without any prior similar experiences, unlike him. After their practice session, Ilaria notes that this is the first time Ryoma made a contract with something other than a slime and asks how he was feeling. Ryoma says that it feels pretty normal, and she says that it must mean that Ryoma has an aptitude for taming bird-type monsters as well. Ryoma asks what she meant by aptitude, and Reinhard explains that almost all taming magicians have some kind of beasts that they can tame more easily than others. Ryoma says that he must have the aptitude to tame slimes, and they confirm it. After that, Reinbach says that finding the right kind of monster to tame is one of the key factors for a tamer to have a successful career. He then reveals that for him, it's a small number of scaled beasts that he can tame, but each one is really strong. Next, Reinhard reveals that he can tame almost all four-legged beasts, but has no luck with birds. Elise, on the other hand, does well with wolf-type monsters and has over 100 beasts under her command, including more than 20 little Fenrir. Ryoma starts wondering just how amazing she is, but Elise says that Grandpa Reinhard is even more amazing, as he has less than 20 beasts tamed, but more than half of them are dragon types. Hearing this, Ryoma gets shocked and wonders if he's cheating even more than himself with that kind of talent. Reinbach says that in his case, he just got lucky, but he can't call them anywhere he wants because it would cause a lot of chaos if a bunch of dragons suddenly showed up in the middle of the town. Ryoma asks what his monsters do when not with him, and he explains that they live in the mountains that they own and keep the monsters there under control. Elise says that her wolves live on another mountain, and there they guard medicinal herbs from poachers. After calling us poor in 50 different languages and making us appreciate the portability of Pokeballs, they all call it a day. For the next few days, Ryoma spends his days preparing the waterproof cloth for Serge and practicing his sensation-sharing magic with Ilaria. After that, he joins his group of adventurers at the guild, and they discuss the upcoming grill frog outbreak and music skills to tame a limmerbird alongside Ilaria. On the day of the grill frog outbreak, everyone decides to prepare for the outbreak to earn lots of money and asks Ryoma about the waterproof clothes he wore during his mission of cleaning the communal toilet pits. He refers them to the Morgan Trading Company, and everyone goes to fill Serge's and, by extension, Ryoma's pockets. Soon the day of the outbreak arrives, and Ryoma goes to the lake alongside Reinhard's family. On his way, he meets the peer of Sekemen, and they thank him for his tip about the grill frogs. The drunk guy who insulted Ryoma the other day also steps forward and apologizes to him for his behavior, and they all walk off happily. After that, Ryoma rushes back to catch up with the Reinhard family and sees them all standing by the bank, looking at the family of limmerbirds feeding on grill frogs. They stand on the side, and Reinhard points the kids towards a man standing in the distance who's trying to tame the birds as well. The man plays a flute, but totally butchers the tune, prompting the birds to mock his performance. The man throws the flute in anger and then takes his sword out to attack the birds, but they start attacking back with wind magic. The man starts running towards Reinhard, but he falls into the river. Ryoma and Camel use magic spells to protect him. Suddenly, they all start hearing a haunting noise from the crowd of limmerbirds, but Ryoma seems to be unaffected while everyone else struggles to keep up with the noise. Ryoma uses his magic to find the dark limmerbird and then isolates it from the group with his noise cancellation magic, sending it away. After that, Grandpa Reinhard explains that it was a nightmare limmer bird that is said to appear once every 10 years, and it's amazing how Ryoma managed to locate it and send it away. Ryoma notes that he could probably withstand the spell due to his high mental pain resistance, and then wonders how they are going to tame the bird now that they have all fled away. The retainer suggests that they return the next day and hope that the birds are back, but Ilaria says that she will wait here and that she is sure the birds will return today. They all wait at the lake till sunset, but no birds come back. Watching this, Ilaria tells Ryoma that it seems it's time for their goodbye, as she would be going to the Royal Academy the next day. Ryoma feels sad about being separated from her as well, and they both have an awkwardly embarrassing moment where Ryoma doesn't know how to comfort her. Hughes tries to tease him, saying he should go in for a hug and a kiss, but Ryoma beats him down, saying he's making the young lady uncomfortable. However, she is just shying away on the side with her face red as a tomato. Just then, the limmerbirds come back, and Ryoma thinks that they look cautious of him due to their previous interaction. He tells them that he will step away for a while so Ilaria can interact with the birds, but Ilaria refuses to let him being near her be an excuse for her failure and plays her violin anyway. Everyone watches on in silence and enjoys her beautiful music, and soon the birds start singing along with her as well. After her performance, a bunch of them fly close to her, and she forms a contract with 9 limmerbirds and manages to catch a shiny Pokemon as well. After that, Ryoma tries his hand at forming a contract with the birds, and he pulls out his trusty guitar. He plays the instrument masterfully and makes the birds form a contract with him as well. Everyone wonders what his instrument is called and exclaims how calm and relaxing it sounds. His group includes a rare variant as well, which is the Nightmare Limmer bird from earlier. Sabas asks Ilaria to cast appraisal magic on her shiny bird, and they find out that it is an even rarer breed of limmerbirds called the Phantom Limmerbird that can use light magic instead of dark magic like the Nightmare Limmerbird. They catch their first bird-type Pokemon, and these kids are already older than Ash, who's still 10 years old despite traveling the whole world 50 billion times and not aging a single day. Later that night, they hold a farewell party for Ryoma, as well as to celebrate the naming of the Limmerbirds. After the party, Ryoma and Ilaria sit together in a room, and they say their farewell to each other. Ilaria will be leaving the next morning alongside her family, while Ryoma will move to the mines to focus on his work and keep an eye on the mines as well. Ilaria looks sad and tells Ryoma that she never had anyone whom she could call a friend. Everyone was either afraid of her status or her huge magical capacity. Ryoma wonders why they would be afraid of her magical capacity, and she explains that 5 years ago she made a mistake. An older boy used to visit their house, and he offered to teach her magic, but she couldn't handle her magic well at the time and ended up freezing the boy. It didn't become a major incident or anything among families, but apparently the boy spread the word that she did it intentionally or that she would attack anyone who crossed her path. Due to these rumors, people tend to stay away from her. She then asks Ryoma if he is afraid of her as well, now that he knows of her past, and he replies that it's fine and such things are bound to happen to everyone once or twice in a lifetime. He says that he isn't afraid of her at all and considers her a close friend. After that, Ilaria gives Ryoma a special ruby necklace that she got from her mother on her 10th birthday. She tells Ryoma to hold on to it as a lucky charm from her, and exchanging gifts among friends means that they will meet again in the future as well. Hearing this, Ryoma accepts the gift and then tries to return the sentiment as well by giving her 2 of his most precious slimes and telling her that they will come in handy for her life at school as well. The next day, they all say their farewell to Ryoma and leave for their hometown. Before leaving, Ryoma thanks everyone for being kind to him and helping him in so many ways, and then wishes them a safe journey. They all wish him back as well, and Ilaria reminds him of his promise to meet again in 3 years. She says that she will study hard, and when they meet next, she will be much stronger and more capable with air magic, so he should keep up with his training as well. After that, she tells him that they are close friends already, so he should call her Ilaria instead, and then leaves with her family. Ryoma sees them off and feels sad for parting ways with them, but then cheers himself up by saying that he will work hard and grow his business as well, so he can meet them once again one day with his head held high. Meanwhile, the masters look upon him from their realm and note that he will miss the Reinhardt family a lot, and then cheers to his ever-bright future. The next day, he goes on to personally invite everyone he knows. He begins with the Reinhardt family and then goes to Worgen, Grakella, and the other adventurers and invites them all to the opening ceremony of his laundry store. After that, he makes preparations for the feast alongside Ilaria and the Reinhardt family's maids. Meanwhile, Serge brings in 2 twin young managers for Ryoma to hire in his shop. They enter the shop and introduce themselves as Carla and Carlum and wonder how an 11-year-old created such a great shop. At first, they think that Ryoma is a relative of the Reinhardt family, and they are really skeptical of a business run by an 11-year-old kid and some slimes. Serge explains that they were working as the sub-manager and the deputy sub-manager at their Lamb branch of the trading company. Ryoma welcomes them and asks them to follow him so he can show them the work process of his shop. First of all, they will have the customers buy a sack for their laundry, and they can use them as many times as they want. There are different sizes, and they charge customers per sack, and the prices differ based on their size. After collecting payment in the laundry, they give them a claim check with a unique number assigned to their sack, which they will need later on to reclaim their laundry. After receiving the sacks, they are to send them to the back room with the slimes, and they will do all the cleaning, ironing, and folding. Ryoma takes them in to show all the slimes, and then tells them that once the slimes are done, they must collect the laundry, sort it out in proper bags, and deliver it to the customers when they come to receive it. Ryoma asks if they have any questions for him, and the siblings say that they have none. Ryoma wonders if they are dissatisfied with his work, and if they think this work is not good enough for them. After that, Ryoma takes them out to show them the quarters for employees, and lets them choose their rooms, as they are the only employees living there at the moment. Besides the dorm rooms, there is a break area, restroom, and an office kitchen in the shop as well. The siblings simply say yes to all his instructions and have no questions of their own, and this makes Ryoma wonder if they are not happy with getting employed there. Soon guests start coming in, and Ryoma has the managers help him tend to the guests. The shop is filled with everyone Ryoma met so far, from the Reinhardt family to the adventurers and the guild masters of the adventurers and merchants guilds. They all compliment Ryoma's efforts and the food at the event and wish him the best of luck for his business. During the party, Gratella says that she has high hopes for Ryoma's business, and the twin managers also note how mature and hardworking Ryoma is. After the party is over, Carla and Carlum acknowledge Ryoma's skills and talent and formally ask him to let them work there. They explain that at first they were skeptical about this whole business, but after spending the day with him and watching how hard he works, they now approve of Ryoma's work ethics and would love to work there with him. Ryoma happily accepts, and they get ready to open their business to the customers tomorrow. He also clears up the misunderstanding that he is related to the Reinhardt family and says that he is just a normal adventurer and not a noble. That's why they don't have to be so hard on themselves and should take it easy. The next day, Ryoma opens up the shop alongside Ilaria and the twin managers and then leaves for the Adventurers Guild as he isn't expecting too many customers on his first day. Ilaria meets up with Hughes to go for her magic practice, and they split up there. After reaching the guild, Ryoma is greeted by some adventurers who congratulate him for opening his own business. Ryoma asks them how they knew, and they tell him that the guild has put up an advertisement plate on the wall for Ryoma's laundry shop, and he becomes happy looking at that. After that, he goes on to pick a herb gathering mission so he can check the mines on his way as well. Once he's done with his mission and mine patrolling, he goes back to his shop and finds it crowded with a massive line of people poking out of the shop's door. He quickly rushes inside and asks the managers what was happening, and they say that they have been getting a lot of customers. This surprises Ryoma, as this is only their first day. The customers tell him that some adventurers told them about the shop, and they were eagerly waiting for its opening as they offer good prices and can even clean goblin grime. Ryoma thanks them all for coming and then starts helping around the shop as well, and they close the day with good profits. After that, he wonders if he's overworking his employees, just like he was exploited in his previous life, and asks them if they had any time to rest at all. They say that it was so busy that they couldn't sit down, and Ryoma says that he will immediately hire more employees to lessen their burden. He then rushes to the Merchants Guild and discusses the matter with Gretella, and asks for her help to hire more people so they can manage everything easily. She congratulates him for his first day being so successful, and then says that she will gather the candidates later, and he can select them himself. After that, he returns home to Reinhardt's inn and tells them about his day. Reinhardt suggests that Ryoma visit the town's guards headquarters, as they are sure to have lots of laundry to do daily. In this way, he can gain a regular customer. Ryoma thanks him for the suggestion and then sleeps in with a tired but satisfied expression on his face. The next day, business is booming at Ryoma's laundry shop, and customers are surprised to see how well he cleans tough stains like the goblin grime at fair prices. After helping out in the morning, Ryoma goes to the Merchants Guild to see the guildmaster about recruiting new employees. The old lady gathers a bunch of people in the hall, and Ryoma introduces himself and his business and asks if anyone would like to work with him. He explains that they need people who can talk to the customers and carry light items like clothing and armor. Besides that, he's a tamer and works alongside his slimes, so if anyone has a problem working with them or just with the fact that he is so young, then they are free to walk away. Looking at a kid talking about business, and with slimes nonetheless, everyone simply walks out except for two people. Ryoma refers to them and says that it would mean they don't mind working with him, and they confirm. He then asks for them to introduce themselves, and the man gets up and shares his name as Faye and introduces his daughter as Liling. Faye says that he would like for Ryoma to hire the both of them, and then asks if his broken leg would be a problem for the business, but Ryoma says that it won't be an issue. After that, he asks them if they have any requests regarding their payment, and they say that as long as they can live, they don't have any requests. Just so you know, everyone, that's the last thing you want to tell an employer at a job interview. After that, he asks them if they have any requests, and Liling asks Ryoma if he knows about any cheap lodging for the both of them to stay, as they don't really have much money. Ryoma reveals that they haven't built dormitories for the employees, so they can work there carefree. Finally, Ryoma says that they both look really strong and asks them about the weapons they are hiding in their clothes. Faye and Liling become surprised that Ryoma noticed the hidden weapons and reveal that they are actually former assassins from another country. But their master lost in a war, and with that they lost everything as well, so they decided to run away and move here. But on their way, they had to give up all their money to bribe the border guards. At first, they started working in the mines to make a living, but due to a mishap, Faye's leg got injured and he was rendered out of employment. Ryoma notes everything and says that it won't be an issue, and says that he trusts them as the guild master brought them there. He then hires them both and asks them to work as their bodyguards as well in case of any emergency. After that, they all walk to the shop, and the new employees note how beautiful and busy the shop is. They all enter the shop, and Ryoma introduces them to the managers. After that, they immediately start helping with the customers. Faye helps at the counter with talking to the customers and collecting laundry, while Liling helps by carrying the bags of cleaned laundry. This helps the shop carry through the evening rush, and Ryoma asks the managers to calculate their sales for the day. After closing the shop, Ryoma asks Faye and Liling to come with him, and he takes them to the break area and heals Faye's leg with his slimes. He says that it's part of his job as the owner to see that his employees are in the best of health. They both thank him for his generosity, and then Ryoma shows them to their dorms, and they become excited to see the furnished rooms. After that, Carla gives Ryoma the summary for the day, and he notes that they made even more than their first day. The manager suggests that Ryoma consider opening more branches in other towns, but Ryoma thinks it's too early for expansion. production. They have a very busy day on day 3 as well, and Ryoma helps around by making a pizza and other food for lunch for everyone. They close the day with 1.5 times the sales than the last day. After working full-time all day long, after closing, Ryoma considers hiring even more employees and a chef to help them around the shop. He goes to the Merchants Guild and discusses the matter with Gracella. She says that she will prepare the candidates soon, and they call it a day. The next day, Ryoma visits the guild and ends up hiring all 3 new recruits. They introduce themselves as Fina, Maria, and Jane, and they all come from the same village. Besides them, Ryoma also hires a cook by the name of Selma, who used to work at an inn. Looking at this growth, Gracella also suggests that Ryoma opens a new branch, but Ryoma stays firm on his decision that it is still too early. After that, they all go back to the shop and start working in fair shifts. And just like that, a whole week passes by since Ryoma opened his shop, and they make a lot of profit. He notes that now he doesn't have to stay at the shop all the time and can now work on ranking up as an adventurer and producing more products to sell through Morgan Trading Company. One day, Serge asks Ryoma to come to his office to discuss a trading proposition. He says that currently, Ryoma is providing them with a steady supply of iron ingots and sticky slime strings. In addition to these, he wants him to supply them with a huge number of waterproof cloth as well. He then explains that the season for the grill frog outbreak is coming soon, and many adventurers go to the lake to hunt them for their hide and organs, which are used in making armor and medicines. That's why waterproof garments and waders will be really popular, and so he sees a great business opportunity in selling Ryoma's waterproof cloth. After that, Ryoma tries an experiment with a cleaner slime, where he makes it eat a lot of pure iron in hopes of it evolving into a metal slime. He then heads to the mines alongside Ilaria to work on mass-producing the waterproof cloth with his green sticky slimes. Meanwhile, Ilaria practices her violin so she can lure a limmer bird in the upcoming outbreak to tame it. While waiting for the cloth to finish curing, Ryoma makes clay dolls using his magic and handiwork and gives it to Ilaria. After that, he makes a whole bunch of them for the whole Reinhardt family and gives it to them as well. Reinhardt suggests that Ilaria takes them alongside her when she goes to the school, and she requests Ryoma to make a doll of himself for her to take along as well. We all know what that means, right? After that, he continues with his routine of making the waterproof cloth, training his slimes, and checking in with the shop. His experimental slime also evolves into an iron slime, and he notes that it must be because it ate only pure iron, and that's why it's different from the metal slime. One day, he notes all the employees gathered around a table, and he asks them what was up. Carla reveals that they got some major contracts, and now they are raking in a lot of profits. This is happy news for all of them, and Ryoma thanks them all for their hard work. Just then, he realizes that he never gave them any holidays and thinks back on his past life. He apologizes to them and says that they will close the shop for a day every week, and everyone will get scheduled holidays. Hearing this, all the employees become really happy and thank Ryoma for his generosity and fair business practices. After taking care of that matter, Ryoma heads to the Adventurers Guild to get some jobs to progress towards ranking up. The receptionist tells him that she got information about a party of adventurers by the name of Pier of Sikkim. She explains that they caught a rare breed of slime and were looking to sell it to the Tamir's Guild, but the guild refused to buy from them. So if Ryoma is interested, he can go see them and maybe see if it's a slime he's interested in. Being the slime geek he is, Ryoma immediately goes to meet the Pier of Sikkim and asks them about the slime. One of the drunk party members is feeling really down due to their bad luck, and he starts lashing out at Ryoma, saying if he's there to mock him, but his fellows quickly pick him up and take him away. After that, the party leader, Shin, asks what business he has with them. Ryoma reveals that he is there to see the rare slime they caught, and if it's something he doesn't own already, he will buy it off them for a premium. Hearing this makes them all really happy, and they show Ryoma the dark red, fluid-like slime that they caught. Ryoma notices that it's a new species that he hasn't seen before, and he buys it off them for 2 gold coins. They thank him for the purchase and tell him that they were feeling down as they came from another town with the slime, hearing that if it's a rare breed, it can fetch a good price. Ryoma then tips them with the information about the upcoming grill frog outbreak and says that if they register with the guild, they can take part in the hunt and earn some fair gold. They all thank Ryoma once again and ask if they can help him in any way. He just asks them to pay his laundry shop a visit whenever they need some washing done. After that, Ryoma takes the slime to the mines and forms a contract with it. It turns out to be a bloody slime with the vampirism skill. It feeds on blood and can be really useful in clearing beast and monster corpses. He welcomes the slime into his family and then heads back to his shop. Meanwhile, the masters watch over Ryoma from their realm while sipping some boba tea and feel happy for him and his new life. To all Leaf Village ninjas, that is it for today. Recap: do not forget to join our clan, our army, my friend. You can do that by clicking that red button below the video. Destroy it for me with that bell. To follow us in YouTube with many videos to come in the following days. So see you later, bro. Peace out.